And welcome back to Fourth and Pain, the only pro wrestling show hosted by an NFL player. 2,000 miles to my left, Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker. 2,000 miles to his right, I am weight loss champion Chuck Carroll. And on the line with us, I guess about 1,000, maybe 1,500 miles due south from me here in D.C., is a very special guest, current TNA Impact Wrestling World Champion Austin Aries. Austin, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Of course, we already knew that, didn't we?
We did know that. We did know that indeed. So I'm dying to ask you, man. A couple of weeks ago, you got the opportunity to meet Adam. He brought his son through Impact, and Adam seems to have delusions of grandeur about being a pro wrestler when his NFL days are done. Now, just having had a cursory glance at him, do you think that he has a future in the business?
Well, he definitely has the stature for it. Good sized athlete. He'd probably have to slim down a little bit. I'm sure he's carrying a little extra weight so he can be beefy on the line there. But when you get in the ring, you need a little more endurance, a little more explosiveness. I'm sure being a professional athlete, though, he wouldn't have any problem fine tuning his diet and workout regimen if that's what he wanted to choose. But after talking to him for a little bit, engaging guy, seems like he's got some personality there. I definitely could see him transitioning in the business if that's something he chose to do.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And see, here's the thing that you don't know about us Redskins. See, we don't carry around extra weight now. See, we are slim and we are trim. Unlike, I forget what team you liked. It was some team up north. But the fact that us Redskins, we're already slim and trim.
Yeah, you're probably talking about my Packers. They do carry a little extra weight around. It's usually called the Lombardi Trophy.
That's
true. A little heavy, but that's the weight we don't mind carrying around up there in Cheesehead land.
Hey, I can't argue with that. The Packers are one of the best, one of the best teams traditionally year in and year out. Their last trip to FedEx was a little bit rough, but hey, at least they won that thing called the Super Bowl. So congratulations to them.
Absolutely, and as I told you shortly after we met via Twitter, I wish the Redskins half the success of the Packers this year, which is still 7 wins. So
I'm sure we'll do just fine, and I appreciate your support, little fella. I mean, I really do.
Absolutely, and when I found out the two teams aren't facing each other this year, then I got no reason not to root for you. I know you're my good buddy here, Brian Hebner, is a huge fan, so out of support to him, I'll support the Redskins this year a little bit.
Hey, Austin, let me ask you this. I mean, kind of as a casual fan, we've had wrestlers on in the past that didn't even know the name RG3. So let me ask you, what kind of impact, just as an NFL fan, do you think RG3 is going to have on the burgundy and gold this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think after Cam Newton's success last year, he's not going to sneak up and surprise anybody. I think that people are going to look at what Cam did last year. They're going to see a similar type of quarterback, and they'd expect similar numbers. But I think people have to remember that the Redskins' game plan is a little different. They're not going to they're not necessarily an offensive juggernaut. I think they try to play a balanced game. But I definitely going to bring a dimension to the team that I don't think they've had in the last few years in a dynamic quarterback. So, with their defense playing strong like they have, they could surprise some people this year. And I think. Again, the focus and the attention is going to be on RG3, but I think if he lets his talent stick out once he gets comfortable in there, I think he'll be just fine.
Did you play football growing up at all, or are you just kind of like a Madden student of the game?
I played football for a few years. I ended up sticking with baseball. That was kind of where my best shot was to make a career after high school and college. But yeah, I actually did, and it's funny, when I played, believe it or not, I played D-line one year, about 140 pounds, just because low center of gravity, tenacious, shoot the gaps and grab ankles. That's basically what I was trying to do.
Hey, you want to hear a true story? I fully believe you, because in the 7th grade, our running back name was Jason Mendoza. He was a running back, a little guy, and we put him on the D-line. And in games, he killed people. Nobody could block him. He was so quick. He had that low center of gravity. He was in the backfield every play. So I completely believe you when you say that.
Yeah, it was fun. I wanted to be safety, but they thought a little better closer to the line, and so that's where I played for a little bit, and it was all right.
Hey, Adam.
You want to hear another funny story? I was a safety early on in high school. If you believe that or not? Yeah, I was our starting quarterback, and my coach was scared of me getting hurt, so he put me at safety. I was 6'6", 230 pounds, running around at safety in practice, but it was just so I wouldn't get hurt. He was scared. So.
Hey, Adam, earlier we asked Austin if he thought you had a future in professional wrestling, but conversely, do you think a guy like Austin Aries should have, maybe possibly still could have a future in the NFL? You never know. They're handing out tryouts. Training camp rosters are up to 90 now.
If you've watched the guy in the ring, the guy is athletic. He is agile. I told him when I was in the trailer, I was feeding my son cookies, and he was putting on his suit and his sunglasses, getting ready for the show. And I was like, you know what, man, I said a couple months ago, you should get this shot. You're the X Division champ. I was a fan before people started chanting Austin Aries, and I'm not just being nice. Like, I told him this, and I'm serious about it. And then he gets this shot, and now he wins the belt, and I'm so happy for him. And, it's like anybody who's that athletic, you never know what can happen.
And Austin, and I'll add, not to heap more praise on myself, but I think too, and I think Adam can agree that when you get to the level that you're at in the National Football League, everyone's an athlete, and a lot of times what separates the greats from the rest is the mental preparation and the work you put in outside of the field. So I think that if I ever was given an opportunity, I would do those types of things also. Maybe carve myself a nice little niche like a Les Welker has over the years.
Hey, you know what? You can heap all the praise you want. You're the greatest man that ever lived, right?
This is true. I guess I can't really heap much more praise than that. That's probably the most impressive title you could possibly claim to be.
So, I mean, talk about just kind of a whirlwind past couple of weeks for you. Answer me honestly. As a guy that will never sniff a championship belt other than being a weight loss champion, and we'll get to that in a second, because I understand at one point in your life you actually wanted to be a vegetarian chef. Is that true?
That is true. It could be something I do later in my life. Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you that. We'll get back to that, but I really want to know, what has it been like since you got that strap? What does it mean to you, somebody that's really worked his way up and been with this company now for a while and a number of different promotions, and now you have this really one of the biggest belts in all of pro wrestling right now? How is your mind kind of grasping where you are?
It's weird. Part of me feels completely comfortable in this role. Something obviously you work towards, and I don't think I would have found myself in that position if I didn't believe with 100% certainty that I belonged there. On the other end of the spectrum, when you look at everything that's happened in the last year and what I've accomplished, where I began the journey, where I've now, where it's now kind of culminated, it is a little surreal in a way, to think of the strides I've made in just a year within TNA Impact Wrestling. What I hope more than anything else is that, all the guys out there who have the same passion, who have put the same amount of work I have, who love the wrestling business as much as I do, I hope that they look at this achievement and they feel pride knowing that people just like them, or people just like myself who really love this business, are given opportunities to shine, and I hope that that's something that we can kind of capture that energy, capture that buzz, that excitement, and just hope that we can continue to grow it and really, I think right now, if you look at what we're doing here on Spike TV with Impact Wrestling, I'll put our product and our show against any professional wrestling product in the world right now. I'll put our talent roster against anybody's in the world right now, and I think we're doing some great things. And I'm proud to be a guy who's kind of spearheading that charge.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, I would completely agree with everything you just said. And actually, I think one of my favorite things about you, I believe it was about a year ago at this time, they had a bunch of wrestlers come in. I think you were mostly X Division guys, and basically you just competed, and either you earned a roster spot or you didn't. So a year ago at this time, you weren't even on the roster, and I think that's one of the things I like about you, is just kind of that whole underdog story. So I think that's one of my favorite things about you.
Agreed, and hopefully again it's something that other people can use as motivation to continue to follow their dreams, continue to work hard, knowing that at some point it's going to pay off.
You're listening to Fourth and Pain, the only pro wrestling show hosted by an NFL player and a weight loss champion. Joining us on the hotline right now, TNA Impact Wrestling champion, Austin Aries. And Austin, we touched on this just a little bit ago. You wanted to be a vegetarian chef. This is something that's really interesting to me. I'm a guy that used to weigh 420 pounds. I've lost 250, and I've kept it off. And that's why we say, I'm a weight loss champion. Outside of this, I really, serve as a fitness advocate for a lot of people. But how important is a vegetarian diet to you? Or do you just want to be a vegetarian chef for S's and G's?
No, I've actually been a vegetarian for a little over a decade now. Shortly after I got in the wrestling business, I cut all meat out of my diet. I don't eat anything with a face, except maybe the ladies on occasion.
Hey now, hey now.
Well, it's that kind of show. But in all seriousness, I think at the time I made the decision, I think it's something that maybe in the back of my head was something I always kind of was pushing towards. But I did grow up in the Midwest, so cheese and broths and beer obviously was a big part of the culture. But when I made that decision, it forced me to learn about nutrition, forced me to learn about the things I should be eating, and really just kind of also, it exposed to me the corporate farming methods that we use in this country, and just how unhealthy it is for us as consumers. When you're relying on corporations to feed you, you have to remember that their bottom line is making money. And if they have to compromise quality of food or the procedures of how they produce that food to make more money, they're going to do it. And a lot of times, the people who pay the price are the consumers, are us. So whether or not a vegetarian diet is something that's for you or for everybody, I do say that even if you're going to be a meat consumer, you can do it in a more humane and responsible way, not only for the animals, but for yourself and for the planet. And that's just something I try to preach. And, so far it's worked out for me. I've learned the things I need to eat to keep myself as a professional athlete in the kind of shape I need to be in, and I don't really see it as anything that's going to change the rest of my life.
Dude, I like where your head's at. Adam, let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible for an NFL player to be a vegetarian and still be successful?
I think it is. I believe the fighter's name was Timothy Bradley, the one that fought Manny Pacquiao the last time.
Right.
I think he was a straight vegetarian, and he looked pretty cut up to me, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a vegetarian. I never will be. If people are, I completely support them. But I myself, I love pork. I love protein. That's just how I roll. But I support anyone who is a vegetarian. That's completely cool. But I think Bradley just goes to show you, and also Mr. Aries here, just go to show you that you can be successful being a vegetarian.
And Austin, as we like to do with guests, so we're going to leave the last question to you. Is there anything that you want to ask Adam, the NFL guy?
Oh boy. I wasn't quite ready for that. I would have had a list of questions ready. All right, Adam. If you were to pursue your professional wrestling career, do you or what would your ring character or name be? Is this something you've thought about already, or is this or not?
I've thought about it a little bit. Part of me just likes going straight with my last name, just Carriker, just straight Carriker. Sure. Part of me, when I first got to the University of Nebraska, I wasn't a big-time recruit. I wasn't a big-time guy. In fact, the other defensive end that came in was, but the strength staff came up to me one day and they said, "You're our dark horse." Well, I thought they were insulting me. I didn't know what that meant. I'm like, "What's that mean?" They're like, "You're the guy that nobody knows about that's going to come out of nowhere and surprise everybody." As it turned out, they were right. And it's like, that's always stuck with me. So I've always kind of wanted to go a dark horse, but I think people take that somehow as a skin tone color, and so whenever I say that to people, they never like it. So it'd be one of those two. Would you have any ideas?
Dark horse it is.
Is that the one you like?
Hey, if other people don't like it and it creates some controversy, then I think you found your name.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
And I think with that, you're going to be a heel as well, Carriker. On that note, all right, Austin Aries, thank you so very much for joining us, man. Nothing but the biggest and brightest things in your future, and we look forward to watching you on Impact Wrestling each and every Thursday night on Spike TV. Check it out. And matter of fact, you guys just expanded to 3 hours, right?
We did. We're going to have a little recap show that's going to air the hour before Impact Wrestling. So in case you missed anything from the previous week, it'll get you up to speed before we go to the live weekly show. And I'm really excited since we've gone live. I think that the energy and the product has improved even more. And I'm really excited to see where this next 6 months to a year takes us. I think we got a lot of great things in store. And I appreciate you guys' support. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitter at Austin Aries. You can also follow at Impact Wrestling on Twitter as well. keep up on all the updates and what we got going on here. And it's been a pleasure, guys. I appreciate this. It's been a lot of fun.
Austin Aries, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, and congrats, man.
All right. I'm looking forward to football season, guys.
Absolutely.
All right, go Redskins. All right, this is Fourth and Pain. He's Adam Carriker. I'm Chuck Carroll. We'll be right back.